G'day golfers. Ever found yourself redirecting blame and making excuses after having an absolute shocker on a golf course? I know that I have. Range was closed, I was a little cold, didn't warm up, I hit it in those 3 old divots. Then we have the podcast for you. We focus on how to fundamentally own your swing. Strike it pure and consistently shoot in the 70s. Be it if you're a weekend hack, retired and playing daily, a school phenom or a tour professional. We present and discuss facts and physics pertaining to golf, trying to keep our ego and opinion at bay. We dispel myths such as keep your head down, bend your knees, or my all-time favourite, game improvement irons. So stop drinking that mythical Kool-Aid and have a sip of ours. I think you'll find it both inspiring and refreshing. I'm Scott Young, founder of Swing, PGA professional and ex-tour player. And together with physical therapist Dr. Sean Joyce, welcome to Pivot the Path. G'day golfers and good morning, SJ. How are you, sir?
Doing well. It's been 2 weeks.
I know, brown.
Yeah,
brown.
You came back a different color.
My farmer tan has gone. Rosie's very happy with my farmer tan.
Yeah.
When
nice.
we're at the beach, I was like a neon. Oh my god.
Yeah, you could get a glare off of you from the sun.
How's your couple of weeks been?
It's been really good. So last couple of weeks we've had Olympics going on, which is awesome. Not only for golf, but just so much sport happening.
So much sport.
It's hard to keep up with. There's so many events.
Usually this is a kind of a dead time in the US because no football, basketball's done, no hockey.
Yep.
Lacrosse is quiet.
I mean, golf is still going on leading up to the FedEx Cup playoffs, but all the majors are finished.
Yeah. So it's nice to have the Olympics.
Yeah, it's been really good.
I love the Olympics.
Yeah, it's great.
So, mate, we had a good time. We were in Greece.
Yeah.
So we took the family away and the 4 kids and we smashed out a bit of the Parthenon, 300 BC.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've never been, but it looks amazing. So
you walk, so we went to Athens, we did Athens for a day, and you're walking in amongst an infrastructure that's 300 to 400 BC and Australia is 250 years old.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
It's hard. And the kids grasped it. Where they were absolutely fascinated. And you're walking in amongst the ruins and it was just, and for anyone who hasn't been to Greece, the most wonderful people. The food was off the charts. We then went to the islands. We went to Milos and Naxos.
Cool. Yeah.
And can't stress it enough
to
play.
And then you snuck in around a golf at a pretty cool resort.
Yeah, so we're going to try and help a lot of these resorts improve their systems. I went to Costa Navarino and the golf course, they got 5 golf courses. The golf courses themselves were absolutely off the charts.
The pictures you showed me look unbelievable.
Yeah, brilliant. But I got to be honest, I used regular flex, 1/2 inch understanded length, offset golf clubs.
It's hard to imagine you holding one of those.
So I've got it on video. I thought, here we are staying at this 6-star resort where it was just so unbelievably good. And the golf clubs and the actual golf experience was really poor. But I had a great time. I played 9 holes.
Yeah.
I used these offset clunky pieces of garbage and I couldn't curve. As the first time I've used offset clubs probably ever.
Yeah.
And they were massively thick and they had a horrible sole. And I noticed that I couldn't curve the ball, but I'll tell you, I hit them dead straight.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, compared to the normal club setup you have, like how did you adjust?
So I actually, and no BS, you said to me when you got yours, I just aimed left and let it cut, and that's what happened.
Okay.
So I felt like I was hitting a big draw, and the ball came off a little left and dead straight.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was amazing how difficult it was to curve the golf ball. I won't say what brand of clubs they were, but they were brand new. So they were this year's 2024 model.
Yep.
And they made golf extremely one-dimensional, which was a great kind of lesson that we're about to launch our own golf club iron line. It's taken a couple of years to get off the market, and we're going to get back to very minimalistic. Why? Because you can shape the ball better. Why do you want to shape the ball better? Because you have to learn to control ball flight, whether it's wind or if the pin's on the top right, you got to hit a fade. If the pin's on the top left, you got to hit a draw.
Yeah.
And I couldn't.
So all the gear effect is just keeping the ball pretty straight.
Now, the problem with that is you can't control the flight.
Yeah.
And as Bryson snuck out, and you sent me this link, you said, watch Bryson's breaking 50.
Yeah.
Absolutely
with
superb.
Yeah.
He's done about, 6 of them. And how can you not love the guy? He's positive and sharp and smart, and he just loves the game.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch. So with Donald Trump, he went to the front tees, I believe.
Yeah.
And just like almost every par 4, par 5, he was trying to drive it.
Oh, he's just
so fun to watch.
It's like it's like a gunshot when he hits the golf ball.
Yeah.
So he dropped a couple of nuggets. He dropped that he breaks a driver every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Which is insane.
Yep.
And he said that, and he let this slip, and I was talking about this with one of our members yesterday. He said, look, I'm noticing that the golf industry are changing the way we shape the ball for the negative, for the worse.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very powerful comment. He said it in a very slip-away line. And so proudly, when we launch our clubs, we're in the process of designing them. And this has taken us 2 years. So we've been doing this a lot before, say, young Bryson, which I love. He did agree to our philosophy, which is the golf industry is making it exceedingly difficult to own your swing. Mm-hmm. So we're going to... So to summarize, golf course was amazing.
Yeah.
Athens was exquisite, but I don't like waking up and paying all this money to use offset whippy golf clubs.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also playing golf in the middle of vineyards, and it's the world's leading olive supply.
Really?
Yeah. So basically the world's best olive oil comes from there. That was awesome. Yeah, so it was good. So I played with a Swiss banker who goes to this particular resort. He's off like 25, so gave him a chipping lesson, and he got from the inside. We took him about 4 holes. He's a great dude, and just loved playing golf. So offset clubs, just aim a little left and let it cut.
Still enjoy it. But...
Oh my God, love it. Love it.
Okay, awesome.
So that was good. So news from the fairways. We got a lot going on, right? So the LPGA played last week because you told me this morning that the Olympics start this week. Yeah,
so the men's golf Olympics was, this past weekend, and then this weekend will be the women's.
And what do you think of the golf course where they're playing?
It's pretty interesting.
Can you say it again? Because it just rolls off your...
Yeah. It's called Le Golf. Now that you ask me, I can't say it. Le Golf National.
Look at that. Australians can't talk like that.
But it's really cool, I think, because now we see the men's and the women's play the same course, same week, or back
different
to back.
Different tees, though, right?
Different tees, I'm sure. But it's pretty cool. So the last few holes, the greens and tee boxes are all just right around each other. So for some of the people watching, and for the players that are, in contention on Sunday, within near groups of each other, can kind of see what's going on and hear the crowd. And I think for that reason, it might be why they chose the course. But it's a pretty good spectators. Good track. So a lot of water around the course. It's pretty interesting.
Good track.
Yeah.
Good track.
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome.
So the LPGA, they had the Portland Classic, and young Thai lady Monya, she won. She only a little thing. She only 5 foot. It's a pretty small little pocket rocket. Yeah.
Wow.
She had a second LPGA victory, so she had a good win there, but obviously kind of a damped down field just because of the Olympics.
Yeah.
And Olympics, where do we start? Did you watch the men's?
So I watched the men's, especially Sunday. I was able to sit down and watch
what was your
a lot of it.
There?
It was really interesting.
What way?
There's a couple different thoughts I have about it. You kind of want it to feel like the Olympics is so different and its own deal for golf.
Yeah.
And I think the way they have it set up, it kind of just comes across as another golf tournament.
I don't think golf should be in the Olympics, personally.
Yeah. So,
or tennis.
We had been talking about this weekend with some members in here that, if they set it up in a way where it made it its own thing, it's different from, every PGA event that's 4 rounds, just individual stroke play. Yeah. It might be a way to make it feel
Nico came up with a good comment yesterday. He said, why don't they do a scramble? I thought that was a terrific idea.
Or doing like a 2-day cut and then individual matches down to the
or
last
match
2.
Play. Yeah.
Something like that, just to make it feel a little bit like this bracket building up.
There's no bracket. That's a great comment. There's no bracket building up. Every other sport has a bracket building up to the gold medal.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So, but I did get the sense on Sunday, back 9, the guys cared about it.
Yeah,
and it was pretty fun. They were making tons of birdies. There was a ton of changes on the leaderboard, and Scottie Scheffler pulled it out. But awesome. it was pretty fun to watch.
And to see him get choked up after he won, he strikes me, and we don't know him, obviously, he strikes me as a very honest Abe. He's just, this is who I am. You either love what I believe in life or you don't, and his faith is very powerful.
Yeah.
But he was sincere yesterday, choked up. Like, I thought, wow, what an awesome dude.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it at all. I just didn't think it should be in there. And unless they do something like a match play or actually Nico's call of scramble, that would be cool.
Like a country each team scramble.
Anyway, or a mixed scramble.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed the back nine of...
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
That's cool.
And it was just the guys who were in contention seemed to really care about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
More than a normal PGA event or more than a major.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it was good. And there was one thing I picked up. So if anyone was watching, especially front nine to back nine, Jon Rahm, I think making the turn was up by 4 strokes.
Yeah.
In control. He was making every putt he looked at, hitting fairways, hitting greens. And then something turned on him, and he had a bunch of pulls left. He stopped making putts.
He gets the club a long way inside.
Yeah.
And so therefore, every now and then, if he leaves the face open with the new technology, bringing this back to Bryson's comment, the new technology with all the twists faces will have an extreme ball flight.
Yeah.
And so
I was watching, and they were talking about Jon Rahm had just the week prior won on LIV. So he came out with some momentum, was playing some good golf, which he hasn't been playing his best the last few months. But they were talking about some of the work he's been doing with his coach, Dave Phillips.
Yeah.
Which I believe you know.
No, I know Greg Rose, the physio, not Dave.
So anyways, so they said most of what they worked on was just alignment.
Yeah.
And, that's what we talk about every single day. I heard that, and I think most people probably just goes over their head. But I was like, oh, interesting. One of the best players we've seen play golf in this generation.
Absolutely.
They go to get him on track, and they're working on just alignment. And they said he, as a cutter or fader of the golf ball, was just starting to line up way too left.
Interesting.
Which I like to do the opposite, is go way to the right. But he was getting too far left, and then I think just getting too much...
Big cutty, big spins.
Too much shape. But then they rein that in, and all of a sudden he's 4 strokes ahead in the Olympics on Sunday.
Yeah, and they all went on. All the commentators this morning or yesterday morning were saying, well, he's not playing enough golf. You don't know, John. You don't know what he does off. So I don't even get into that speculation. Whether they're playing enough tournament golf or not, we'll see in the next couple of years. Bryson would suggest that they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
And then Olympics more broadly.
Yeah.
I mean, where do we start?
Exactly.
What's your takeaway? What do you love about the Olympics? I'm an Olympics nerd. I could watch the Olympics all day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Rosie and I were talking about on the drive in. I feel like COVID and certainly our generation of kids don't really love the Olympics at all.
Yeah, I think it's something I grew up watching.
Yeah.
It's a little different now because growing up, like, it would just be on the broadcast and whatever's on, you watch.
Yeah.
So it forced you to watch events you never often see. And so I've learned to really like the ones that don't get much like commercial awareness around them or coverage on TVs, like the archery you were talking about.
So I love the archery. Yeah. The archery, so closed sport, archery, high jump, long jump, shooting, anything that doesn't require an opponent is a closed sport like golf. And so archery, the American chap, I've just written it down here, Brady Ellis and Kim Woo Jin. So Brady Ellis and Kim Woo Jin were the gold medal final. Now, Kim Woo Jin won the Olympics 4 years ago, and Brady's kind of been number one in the US for like 15 years. I think this is his 5th Olympics.
Yeah.
Out of 30 arrows, they had 26 bullseyes.
Wow. And
a bullseye is 75 yards away and the size of a compact disc.
Yeah, when you're watching it and they're zoom in on the person shooting.
That's insane.
And then when they pan out and show you the whole
it's amazing.
I don't know what you call it, a field, a court, something, but it's so far.
It's so far.
Hitting bullseyes like that it's pretty unbelievable.
And why do we talk about that? Because it's the same as golf. What you'll find, these guys have their pre-shot, and girls, the archers have this pre-shot routine. And it's the same every single time. Scottie Scheffler wins the Olympic gold. Why? His preparation's better and his pre-shot routine is phenomenal. So to have 26 bullseyes, and then they went sudden death for the gold medal. They had one arrow. I'm like, that's the epitome of, And they had a heart rate monitor on.
Yeah, which I think is fascinating. So they had that in PGA Tour for a while.
Yeah, brilliant TV.
But it's pretty cool to see,
So the Korean he was hovering at about 80 beats per minute.
Yep.
And interestingly enough, the American Allison he was hovering at about 110.
Yeah, I find it, some people kind of run on adrenaline, and then there's others that keep it calm. And
so I bow hunt, but I'm getting into it. And I even know that if I'm not focused on my breathing, my hands shake. And you've got to hit the deer right, because it's cruel if you don't.
Yeah.
So you don't take the shot unless you're absolutely lasered in through the lungs or the spine.
Yeah.
So you have to be absolutely dead eye. And these guys, you bow hunt from about 30 yards. These guys are 75 into a compact disc.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then the shooter, Yusuf
Turkish guy.
Yusuf Dikik. I mean, he's got a photo. For those who don't get into their Olympics, this is a 10-meter air pistol.
Yeah.
He's got his hand in his pocket. He doesn't have any paraphernalia.
Yeah.
He just stands up and goes, silver medal.
Yeah. And it's the whole story of how he got into it in the first place is pretty insane. If anyone's interested, go look him up.
Yeah.
But the most casual silver medal
you've ever seen. No fancy, which is kind of parlaying on what we do here at Swing. Get back to blades. He didn't get into all the eyes, the goggles, the machines, the gloves. He's like, I just put my hand in my pocket. There was comment about he might have been doing this for a living. No, that's all speculation.
Yeah.
And I love last night watching the bronze medal for the surfing. And I've surfed Chaupu, and yesterday, obviously, Chaupu.
You surfed there?
Yeah, I've surfed in Tahiti a lot.
Nice.
And yesterday they were at a reef for the bronze medal event because Chaupu obviously had the wrong swell. And for those who don't know, Tahiti's surrounded by atolls and reefs. I'd surfed at the spot where they were surfing last night, which was really cool a lot. And it's a reef break off the beach or off the coral. And it's quite funny because you have super deep water. So there you've got a massive volume of water that comes up onto an atoll, onto a reef. Mm-hmm. And so for anyone watching, the water volume gets pushed up on the reef, and that's why it's a really good break. But if they surfed the wave too long, they're only on about 2.5 feet of water.
Yeah, that's scary.
And you have to be careful how you kind of pull off the wave. So I love that. I love watching the surfing and knowing I surfed there. That was cool. And I just think the whole Olympics is just absolutely phenomenal. Things like long jump and triple jump and shot putter, watching the American chap, the shot putter, I don't believe has finished yet, or might have finished yesterday.
Yeah.
He's going to win the gold. He's so far ahead.
Apparently the shot put team for the U.S. is rather strong.
Yeah.
But I love the sports where the gold medal in the Olympics is the pinnacle of accomplishment.
And it means so much to them.
Yeah. And so that's where I think where golf we get a little unsure, just because if you ask the guys playing, would they rather have a Masters, a green jacket, or a gold medal?
Masters every day of the week.
I think
probably. It's not even close. And
so,
we keep it high and tight on trying to channel the golf industry. I think to your point very correctly, it would be great for the IOC if they want to keep golf. Again, I don't think it should be in there, but if they're going to keep it, actually, let's pivot for a second as we do here. One of the chaps I gave a lesson to yesterday was a professional squash player, and I was gobsmacked that squash wasn't in the Olympics.
Yes.
Here we've got basketball, we've got hip hop or breakdancing, which I love. I think it's fantastic. But squash, which I believe is one of the most global other than soccer, the most global sport there is, that doesn't have too many world championship events, and it's not an Olympic event.
Yeah.
But then a chap from CBS here in New York pumps money into squash, and all of a sudden it's now an Olympic event. Why? Because CBS have the media rights. So the whole thing's about money and backslapping. And so Lyle very correctly is looking forward, as a squash professional, looking forward to squash getting in the Olympics next year.
Pretty cool.
Which would be pretty cool. But again, if it's not the epitome of the sport, I'm not sure why it's in there.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see what happens with the track and field. I love the 400-meter hurdles. That's going to be a final today.
Yeah.
Simone Biles. I mean, what a machine.
Yeah, and a class act too.
One of the best Olympic athletes of all time.
Yeah. I think gymnastics-wise, most decorated.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on gymnastics and physiology?
I think it's quite interesting. So I think the athletes are unbelievably impressive from a strength and flexibility standpoint. I do get the sense it's a little overdone in the sense they take a lot of wear and tear between the volume of how much they train, and then some of the things they're doing are beyond what are normal limits of flexibility in a lot of cases. So they push things to like a pathologic sense in terms of stretching certain muscles. So a good segue is like kind of with you, and you're very flexible, and you've always felt, oh, my hamstrings are tight, so I should stretch them a lot. So you stand every morning, hands to the floor. You probably almost get your forehead to the floor.
I haven't done that
but you haven't done it.
No, not more than that. 6-7 months now.
And so that's a way of your body to create mobility as a compensation for certain areas that are really stiff and tight.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings balance to the system. However, it's like overstretching to a pathological sense of your hamstrings, which long term keeps you stuck there.
Yeah.
So I think
can I get you to say that again? So my brain wants to stretch my hammies, but you're saying that's an incorrect pathway for success.
Yes, as like your brain's way of stretching the hamstrings is a workaround for other areas that aren't moving well.
Okay.
Which ends up sacrificing something down the line, which might be lower back, your hip joints.
Yeah.
They kind of offset or work around an issue to get through the short term, but long term causes issues. So I think with the gymnastic athletes, they push the mobility so far that it creates overstretching of ligaments, of muscles in places where.
Can you stretch a ligament and will it return to its most efficient length or not? Once a ligament goes, it goes.
Yeah, that's kind of up for debate. There's, research saying ligaments can be overstretched passively and then stuck that way, but also corrected. But the muscles can definitely self-correct a lot more easily than a ligament would, since it has an active component to it. So, like for your instance, the idea is stop stretching your hamstrings.
Yeah.
Start to strengthen them instead, and then let's attack the areas your body was overstretching the hamstrings to compensate for, if that makes sense.
So we've had a bit of a major run the last couple of weeks. This week it's the Olympics. Next week we're going to get back to explain a little bit of what our group training here is. And I think it's the world-class movement improvement platform. I really, really sincerely believe that. And yesterday we did the most amazing group training, and SJ is very creative, and we have our guys in here. And I said to him, the block I feel with my follow through is in my lower thoracic spine.
Mm-hmm.
And we did an exercise yesterday, and next podcast we're going to talk about this. And because, as I said, we've jumped into a little bit of major golf and now Olympics. We're going to talk a little bit about what we do in our group training. And one exercise you got me to do yesterday, my brain went alert mode. This is going to hurt, but you've taught me how to engage my hamstrings, use my glutes. And at 50, I feel amazing. We're playing tomorrow.
Yep.
And yesterday's exercise was fascinating for me. We do about, 6 exercises in an hour. And one of them was brains like, oh, I'm going to hurt my lower back here, but you've taught me how to use my glutes correctly. Mm-hmm. And yesterday afternoon, I hit some chip shots. Today I've got to practice because I've got to take your money. I still owe you $20. And I felt amazing. And you explained to me so well how modern movement platforms, trainers stretch people. It's just such a fundamental, flawed way of movement.
Yeah.
And I feel pretty good. So thank you, mate. We're going to dive into that next episode.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea with that is let's just give your brain a new strategy of how to move and control your body that's conducive to feeling good in life, but especially for your golf swing.
With the goal that you shouldn't have to stretch to warm up to play. You should just have a couple of swings and off you go. Fire the Ferrari.
Yeah. And when you play and when you work out, you should feel better afterwards. You should feel good.
Yeah.
If you don't, red flag.
Yeah.
Take a look at what you're doing.
I mean, I'm always going to wake up the next morning and my glutes are going to be on fire because you're teaching me to engage them more. My hammies are a little on fire today, but in a really lovely way. So I got to hit some balls today. I've got a brand new driver going in the bag.
We've got
tomorrow, which will
secret project.
The secret project, and it's going to be hit. I'm not going to hit it until tomorrow.
Yeah. So do we want to tell people about it now or wait till afterwards?
I've got a 30-year-old driver head going in the same shaft as my brand new TaylorMade.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to hit it further, longer, and straighter than my brand new technology.
And so the differences are...
It's bore through head.
It bores through. So the shaft goes all the way through to the bottom of the head.
The shaft tip is in the driver head 3.5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
A modern day driver is in the driver head about 3/4 of an inch to maybe an inch. Therefore, the club head will twist and open more in the new technology, Why is there new technology? Because they want to click and they want to sell you more shafts. It's complete bullshit. They want to sell you more shafts. And so the driver I'm putting in is the driver I had on tour in 1999. I've looked for it for 13 years. One of our members, Anthony, SMS'd me and said, there's 2 going on eBay. They look brand new. So I bought both of them. They cost me a right $40. And I cannot wait to report back in.
So you get no flex or
you get no
rotation
twist.
from the last
Super
2-3 inches. So it should be stiffer.
Should be stiffer.
And then low spin head.
So the low spin head, it's got less grooves. It's all titanium. So fundamentally, the physics of the golf club changed back in the 2000s. About 98, I believe, titanium came out. Maybe earlier than that, probably 95. But other than that, other than the twist face, despite all the garbage you see on media and all their ads and we make clubs better, technology hasn't changed. So the physics of where this goes, and this is why we're doing this, it's an experiment. I promise you, as honest as I sound here, I will not hit it before tomorrow. We're playing the Creek, and which is a beautiful course out in Long Island. The physics is the head's lower spinks, it doesn't have as many grooves. It doesn't have twist face, so if I hit it out of the toe, it's going right. It's not going to curve back more. So in theory, if I don't hit this driver in the middle, I will have more dispersion, but I'm hoping at our level we hit it in the middle. Because the club is going to rotate less, I'm going to hit it straighter. Because the shaft is stiffer in the head, I'll hit it straighter. And it's up to me to generate speed, which you've got me moving very differently in the last 6 months. So the net should be, it should be a far more consistent, reliable driver. And it will make me a better golfer. And this is the important part. Because there's not as much garbage with twist face and flex, it'll make me a better golfer in the long run. So
it incentivizes you to put a better swing on it as opposed to
the new technology will mask your poor swings. In the round of golf, it will produce a better result. But the whole MO of our business model is, but it will make you a worse golfer over months. And that's really important. And Bryson let that slip on his podcast or YouTube, whatever you want to call it. He said the modern technology is making us worse golfers because we can't control ball flight. And so I've been looking for this driver head for a while. So shout out, Ant. Thank you, mate, for finding it. I bought 2. Between, if I love it, SJ's got his dibs on the next one. And we'll get Ant one as well. And we'll see. We'll report back. I'm happy to be wrong. Totally happy to be wrong on this, but I think the physics is undeniable.
It'll be a fun experiment.
It'll be a fun experiment.
For those listening this week, check back in. We will let you know how it goes. Honest feedback as always.
Honest feedback always.
I'm fascinated to see. It looks awesome.
It looks
a little smaller. It's really cool. So
Beauty golfers, look, thanks for listening. And remember, you can absolutely own your swing with the work you put into it off course. So keep owning, keep working.
Thank you all for listening. We appreciate it.